What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming back for another episode of Talk That Talk to Me. I am your host, me, where Ratchet Talk to inspire all the masses. And today I am joined in the studio by a very special person near and dear to me and my heart. And I'm going to try and, not to keep it so comfortable because I know we're family. So I have to remember, okay, today you're my auntie second.
Okay.
But first, you are the wonderful, renowned auntie first, mother, daughter, sister, confidant, aspiration to all of us, your nieces and your daughters and cousins and other relatives. But you are, that's my infamous drum roll.
I love it.
Thank you. Juva Threat Alexander. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Yay.
I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you for joining me in the studio for a wonderful cause that, I know you have a lot of things coming up and some things that you worked on. So I wanted you in the studio today because, one, to let you know that you've just been such a wonderful role model to me. Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be up under you guys, my uncle and you and the kids. I've always wanted to be up under you guys, and I always felt like, my cousins are like my sisters and my brothers. Mm-hmm. So I thank you for giving me them because you just don't know what you've done, because I feel like, I get my aspiration and some of my outlooks of life from you, because I'm very what's the word that I like to I'm visual. Mm-hmm. So I like to look and I like to examine, and I just like to be a part of what everybody else, has going on in the family. And you really stuck out to me.
Wow.
You really stuck out to me.
You're going to make me cry.
Don't cry. This is not that type of show, okay? We're thugs.
Okay. All right, that's right.
I'm just playing. But anyway, we went through a loss in the family. And I feel like this loss brought us all closer together as one. And we were over my cousin's house, and you dropped off a wonderful gem.
Yeah.
And this wonderful gem, ladies and gentlemen, is something that you guys are going to love. And I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to let her, introduce herself a little bit further. But I just wanted to give you that warm welcome. Thank you, just for being a major part of my life.
Thank you.
Enough of me talking.
I tell you. Well, you know what? You're right. We did experience a tremendous loss in our family a little over a year ago. Mm-hmm. And, oh goodness, I said I wasn't going to cry.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so your cousin mm-hmm. and my niece, mm-hmm. who she happened to be my very first babysitter, and Sakina, mm-hmm. may she rest up there in heaven, and I know she's looking down on us. But I've always had a very special place for my nieces mm-hmm. and my daughters, and I had a story to tell. Mm-hmm. And prior to giving you guys this precious gem, mm-hmm. I wrote a book, and I dedicated my book to my daughters and to my nieces. Mm-hmm. But the requirement was that, of course, everybody had to be at least a teenager, mm-hmm. at least 16 years old, because at 16, that was when I think my life just kind of did something different. Mm-hmm. Of course, when you're an adolescent, you're a teenager, that's when you're kind of going through things, trying to find yourself. Mm-hmm. And then when you have that, me being the oldest child, you have different expectations on you, so many different pressures and peer pressure and just different things, and trying to figure out who you are. Mm-hmm. All of that kind of, it impacts you. Mm-hmm. And then as I became a young adult, I started making decisions. A lot of it had to do with, mental health. And I know we just finished with mental health awareness, yes. But when you battle with depression, you just don't know what it is. Sometimes all of that, coupled with so many other different yes. factors, you make some choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you regret.
Right, that you regret later. Yeah. And one of the choices that I made in my early 20s was And here it is. I was a college student, doing my thing, joined a sorority. I mean, I had it going on, you know, going through high school, whatever, you know, you're Miss Popular, blah, 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 all this other stuff. Well, Miss Popular, Miss Goody Two-Shoes, Miss whatever it is that you want to, title you want to throw in there, I decided that it would be a really cool idea when one of my girlfriends presented this idea to me. Hey, Juva, and to this day, we are still friends. We are still. I call him my road dog, the original road dog.
Oh yeah, I have a couple of those.
Yes. So those are your girls. You know, your girls that you go out with. We would run up and down the interstate, partying, having fun, and doing all kinds of things. But nevertheless, she says, "Hey, one of my homeboys is having a bachelor's party, and he needs a stripper. Do you think you could do it?" Why did she ask me what? And you know what, me, in my state of mind, and at this time, I'm like, when I say that I'm out there wilding out, I'm wilding out. I'm up there, you know, I'm getting high every day. I'm smoking weed. I'm doing me. And I just thought, and you know, and I was broke, you know.
But I feel like, you know, I ask my friends this now. For us to be in college, we didn't have a job, but we had cars. Like, where did we get money from?
Girl,
where and how
I
did we
think
get money?
I had that. That's why I maxed out credit cards that are just, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought it was okay. Shoot, but you know, they don't know me.
Right.
So anyway, I end up doing a bachelor's party, and of course, I was there for, I don't know, maybe a couple hours. And when I realized all this money, oh my gosh, all of this money that I made, I was like, oh, I could probably do this again. You know, is there somebody else having a bachelor's party? You know, ain't nobody knows. Yeah. So that evolved. It evolved into me end up going into different sex-oriented businesses, establishments. One of them being the local strip club. Now I was in Augusta, Georgia at the time.
Okay, because I was about to say, for some of those who don't know, now you're from Georgia.
I'm from Georgia,
but you have foot in ATL.
I have foot in ATL. Now see, this is
places.
Yeah. So I was in Augusta, Georgia, and I knew that I wasn't about to go to those clubs there, you know, because that's considered my hometown. I ain't about to go over there. Everybody know me. Oh, heck no. Augusta's about this big, you know, so I wasn't going to do that. So eventually I was like, I'm going to go to Atlanta. Yeah, I'm going to go to Atlanta. At the time I had
Come on, Auntie, it's unfiltered, okay? You don't have to hold back. We unfiltered.
Woo. But I'm trying.
I know.
Let's say that at one point in time, I was involved with this guy, and you know how you basically, you know, you're into them, but they're not necessarily into you until blah 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 blah.
And then you just go all out and have to looking stupid.
But at this time, I had kind of like gotten him out of my system. I mean, I had gotten him out of my system, but he was in Atlanta. He was well established. He had this little, you know, a music career, and he had this big old house. I'm like, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna stay in this house. I'm gonna go up in that club. Blah blah blah. And so that's what I did. But going into the clubs just kind of opened my eyes to things that I wasn't aware. Here it is in Augusta, you go to Atlanta, and I really and truly felt like the little country mouse in a big city.
And for those of you who don't know or aren't too familiar with Augusta, just compare it to it being maybe Kings Mountain. If you're from Kings Mountain, North Carolina, that small area, that's really not too far from Charlotte. So think of having that bigger dream of going from the country to the city.
To the city, yeah. So that's where I was. But anyway, in that particular lifestyle and in that club, I had the opportunity to meet all sorts of people, and I put some of those people in my book. The different things that I experienced. And when we think of strippers, now I was in the club and I was hustling, I was making my money, I was doing what I do, but it has such an effect on you. It has an effect on your family, it has an effect on your loved ones and people that are close to you, and after a while it becomes destructive. And I think it becomes destructive because you develop, or for me,
Mm-hmm.
I developed a love
Mm-hmm.
for money.
Mm-hmm.
The more I got, the more I wanted.
Yeah.
And the more that I obtained, it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you develop the love of money,
Mm-hmm.
there's a scripture that says the love of money is the root of all types of evil.
Yes.
But you know what? And that's because when you have kind of come from nothing,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you develop this love and this greed for money,
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself being in compromising situations where you'll do almost anything to get it. And it's like an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have people that are, strung out on meth.
Yeah.
You have people that are strung out on being in a strip club.
Yeah.
You have people, and so just as I had this greed and this desire to make all of this money, and it's like, during one interview, I had someone ask me, so what were you thinking? It was a book club. I went to a book club. What were you thinking when you saw all those men? And, it's like, the only thing that I saw was money.
Dollar signs.
I didn't care what they looked like. I didn't care if they had if they were giving me their last, and I know they were giving me last. They were giving me their little rent money, their little mortgage. They're giving me. They coming up there giving me their paychecks. Now, who comes to the strip club in the middle of the day and have lunch? But they were there. But they were addicted just as I was.
Okay.
So, long story short, when I went from and the title of my book.
Yes, I was wanting to get into that. I feel like we were getting there. Go ahead and explain the title of your book.
The title of the book is called From the Pole to the Pulpit.
Okay, and guys, just by, this title of the book and receiving this book as a niece, okay?
Yeah.
When I first read it, I was like, oh, okay, this might be a good book. Did not pay attention to the name of the book, okay?
Uh-huh.
Did not know your name was actually on the book. The title alone just caught my attention.
Right.
So I'm opening up the book and I'm reading she shouted this out. You even wrote in the book, tell my nieces, I love you, a personal note. But then when I got to the book, I'm like, oh, my auntie.
Yeah, your auntie.
Wow.
Yeah.
But even from reading the book and listening to your story and reading your story, the message for me was how you overcame, that place that you were in as an adolescent. And even going through some things as far as having a child and still trying to figure out how to stay in this realm of making money. What did you learn about yourself while you wrote this book at that period you were at in your life?
Well, first of all, this was From the Pole to the Pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
I planned to take the pole to my grave.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was going to know. If you didn't know me just out there in the street and you ran into whatever, whoop, 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 you wanted to know. And so by this time, of course, of course it says to the pulpit, so that, of course, that I had like a rebirth and I had a revelation, and it's, right. And I actually had that revelation here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey.
Yes. So my brother-in-law, Pastor Morris Graves, he presented he told the gospel to me, or he shared the gospel to me for the first time. Not the first time, but it was the first time that I actually heard it with my heart.
Yes.
So it's different when you have a head knowledge and a heart knowledge. So anyway, the pulpit, I ended up, of course, and I had a heart knowledge. I eventually came up out of the clubs. So when I was inspired to write this book, I'm an adult. I have children by this time. I'm doing my own thing. I'm involved in ministry, different type of ministries, because God didn't necessarily call me to the four walls of the church. It's always been kind of out and about. With people that were just like me. Yeah. People that were lost, people that were struggling, people that that were just kind of stuck. Yeah. Yeah.
And I found myself in that place. It's just why I adapt to you so much, because I see me in you.
Wow.
Even just watching you and reading your book, I see, the transformation that you've had. I'm getting there, Nobody's perfect. No. But I'm getting there day by day, and it's because of the people I surround myself by.
Absolutely.
So I'm truly aware of you and proud of everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Also, too, I wanted to ask if you could tell me one of the most eye-awakening things for you that you wrote in the book that kind of made you, think, oh, I got to get out of here. I can't do this anymore. What was it for you that turned?
Just that aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And it's funny because I get that question a lot.
Mm-hmm.
People want to know what was that point, because we have movies such as, what was the movie? And I put it in there, The Players Club.
Yes, and why did you get out of it?
Yeah, so here it is. You had that you had Diamond, and you look at her cousin, right?
Ebony.
Now, okay, so you have Ebony.
Uh-huh.
Ebony's out there, honey. She getting it. She doing her thing, and then all of a sudden, she's beat up and all this. Now, granted, I had some moments,
Mm-hmm.
but those moments weren't enough to just deter me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came to the realization once first of all, I ended up getting married. And although my husband, he wasn't, this wasn't necessarily his thing. He wasn't no pimp or nothing like that. But he was in a fast type of lifestyle himself,
Mm-hmm.
But once we got married, he was like, oh, Vince, you got to shut this stuff down.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because after the fact, just talking to him, I learned a lot of different things and how he felt about the situation. But basically, I became pregnant with baby number 3,
Mm-hmm.
and in between, what I had been doing was going back in and out the clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we need some extra money. I'll just go. Well,
Mm-hmm.
shoot, I'll just go up here,
Right.
or I'll do this party, whatever.
Right.
But no. God had to actually just kind of snatch me out and made it unaccessible for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have this big moment where all of a sudden, something drastic happened to me. I moved.
Mm-hmm.
I came to Charlotte, and I was just here.
Mm-hmm.
I was just here. I was here. I wasn't around my family. I wasn't around my friends.
So it's almost kind of like a rebirth.
It was kind of like a rebirth, but I mean, I still had the mindset of where I was in Atlanta, here in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I was, kicking and screaming, and he was telling me, let's go to church. Go to church.
I don't want to do that.
Go to church. And, and then I felt obligated to go to church because, oh, my brother, my brother, he's the minister, he's the pastor, we going to church.
Yeah.
So it was more of I was just kind of snatched out of there,
Okay.
and there was no way that I was going to be able to go to the clubs up here. So
Which brings me to my next question. So why the title, From the Pole to the Pulpit?
okay, now the pole, I guess you can say that it is metaphoric, although I was literally on the pole.
Mm-hmm.
But the pole represents almost anything,
Mm-hmm.
anything that you are just stuck doing. You're stuck in that dead-end job that you absolutely hate going to.
Yeah.
I always equate it to like the call center. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Going to
strong soul.
or either just that same old, and you like, man, I know there has to be something better than just going here and paying bills and don't have nothing left.
Yeah.
Stuck in dead-end relationships.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us have been just stuck?
Woo, Jesus,
Yes,
I got my
right?
hand up right
Right.
now. Me.
Throw a
I got a
second
foot up, toes
Yes.
up, everything. Me.
Dead in relationships, lack-minded thinking, saying stuff, I'm always broke, I don't have enough,
Yeah.
gotta rob Peter to pay Paul, Yeah. all these things, just stuck in whatever, or just stuck in just not knowing what it is that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have people that are, in their 20s, and I have people that are in their 40s and maybe even 50s, and they're like, they don't even know.
Yeah.
So that pole represents being stuck.
Mm-hmm.
To the pulpit was, I called it, there was a chapter where it said the rebirth of Juva, because the pole, to the pole, that was the birth of Kitty. And you got to read the book to find out who,
Let me tell y'all.
Kitty is. Shout out to the 69 boys.
Let me tell you, y'all, I did not even know Kitty existed.
Oh yeah, honey, Kitty was honey. She was like Beyonce's.
Yes.
Sasha Fierce.
That's in there too, I
it's
believe.
in there. Yeah, so she was Beyonce's Sasha Fierce, and she was something else. So, but Kitty was up on that pole. But the rebirth of Juva, that's when I had a transformed mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pulpit, I'm not an ordained minister, although we all minister.
Yes.
We all minister,
Yes. Yeah.
So the pulpit, it is metaphoric too. It's of the transformed life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that even now I am still there,
Yeah.
you know, on the pulpit.
Yeah.
Kitty don't come.
And let me tell you, because at one point in my life, Aunt Juva, I remember having this conversation because just as you mentioned earlier, we all had that dead-end job where we felt like this cannot be life every day.
Right.
So I took this job working at the bank, and I just took the job, I think I was maybe 23.
Mm-hmm.
And this job couldn't have come at a better time, but I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Yes.
So there were even times where, I would say, what else can I do to make money? I think I'm in shape. I get all these compliments. You're so pretty. And, you look great. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to go be a stripper.
Girl, yeah.
And at the time I had a friend, a very close friend of mine,
Yes.
who had just started dancing. And I was like, tell me the ins and outs. And then I had another source over here who was a photographer. I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and get some headshots. And I pitched the idea to my mom. Not, knowing what she was going to say. I knew, for one, I was probably going to get cussed out. But she had the very opposite reaction as, when I told her. I was like, Mom, I don't like this job. I feel like there's nothing else I can do. How do you feel about me, becoming a dancer? And she, what she told me?
What did she say?
She was like, well, as long as you don't go to South Carolina, because, they make you get naked in South Carolina. She said, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't go to South Carolina because they don't make you cover up. And I was shocked. I was like, Mom, really? You don't care if I become a stripper? But for me, I think it was the fear and just knowing that I couldn't let myself come to that point. So I wanted to ask you, which chapter in the book is your favorite and why?
Y'all, and these chapters are something else.
They're really good, okay?
These chapters are something else. And I'm looking through the book here. My favorite chapter, I think, would be, and let me just go to the table of contents.
All the chapters are really great.
All
guys.
the chapters are good.
Again, the book is called From the Pole to the Pulpit. You can pick that up where, Aunt Juva?
You can pick it up on Amazon.com. And also you can get it on my website, and I also have signed autograph copies available, and that's Juva, Juva, Threat, Threat, Alexander.com, Juva Threat Alexander.com. And your question, you said, which was my favorite chapter?
And why?
I think my favorite chapter, I don't know if it's my absolute favorite because, well.
And it's okay, we can edit all this part right
Okay.
here.
I think Pimps, Hoes, and Porn Stars. Oh my.
Ooh, can you say that title one more time? Say that.
Pimps, Hoes, and Porn Stars. Oh my.
I love it. I love it.
And of course, this is from the pole part. So this is Kitty's part. Okay. Pimps, Hoes, and Porn Stars. Oh my. I had no idea. Like I said, I was like country mouse in a big city. I had no idea that the strip club was like the office for pimps, hoes, and porn stars.
Not the office.
It was. You had pimps, and you had all of his or her hoes. And y'all forgive me, for I guess kind of typing people that way. But you had pimps, you had their hoes. That's what they refer to themselves as.
Real,
yes. Yeah. And you had porn stars. And what I guess it was just eye-opening to me to know that you had these people in there. Now the porn stars, those are the women that would come that would be featured when I don't know, well, there's strip clubs here in Charlotte, but when you have a featured porn star that comes, money comes. Because you have guys that this is their favorite porn star. Oh, they're coming to see Miss such and such and such and such.
Right.
But there was one encounter. I was in a club in Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to my Memphis people because Memphis is actually where I was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Memphis is actually is my home. Is where I was born.
Okay.
But there was a club in Memphis that I went to.
Oh, Lord.
Now in Memphis, we're a little different. In Memphis, we might be a little, you see all prim and proper and stuff, but you talking about gangster?
I mean, I know the Yo Gotti side of Memphis.
Yes, yeah, mine. Tell you mine.
Side, yeah.
Yes. So in Memphis, there was this porn star that came, And girls in strip clubs, strippers love to fight. But the thing about now, although that porn star would bring a lot of the crowd in, there was a lot of jealousy in this industry, a lot of violence. And I remember the stripper, and I won't tell her name because I didn't tell her name in the book, but she was a feature, and she had one of the girls got jealous, and the girls, I mean, the stars up on the stage, doing her thing, and and this, butt naked, and the girl came over and threw a drink on her stuff
while she was dancing.
Yes, while she spread wide open, busted open, and threw a drink in, threw a drink. And of course, that had to burn.
Exactly.
The young woman got off the stage, and I remember in the dressing room, and you have your girls, they still just doing their thing, whatever, and they're laughing and snickering. But I saw something in her. I saw her eyes. And, she's crying. And, she's gathering her money and trying to clean herself up. But I saw her eyes. And in her eyes, I saw just pain. And when I saw pain, not just physical pain, it was something inside. Here it is. She was getting herself together so that she could go back out. I said she was there because she felt like she had to be there. And she had to put up with somebody throwing a drink on her stuff. But it just touched me in a way because it showed me the humanness of her, that she might have been somebody's mom. And we have no idea what her story was or why she was there. But she stayed there. She didn't fight. She didn't do any of that stuff. But it was her eyes. And it was something about her eyes that just kind of drew me. And I think about the pimps, the hoes, and the porn stars. And I realize that they are people too. And that they, although there's some parts in the book that's very comical or whatever, whatever, but they're real life people with real life feelings, and they are just as stuck as I was.
And also too, you referred to in the book, because you do mention that a lot, like how you, even though you're Kitty in that moment, that night in the club, you also still were the same Juva in your heart. Because even you looking at that young lady in her eyes and seeing that she was hurt, versus other women just being like, girl, stop crying, get yourself together. Get right.
Well, they weren't even really paying her attention like that, other than.
And see, but you took that time out to even acknowledge that, and to acknowledge that, and to see that there was more to it than just her being on the pole and doing what she had to do to survive. You saw the woman in her that not necessarily wanted her to be there or why she had to be there.
Right.
Have you talked to that young lady since, or have you been in contact
now? No. There is only one. No, there are a couple of people that are mentioned in the book that were in the club with me that I still communicate with, but no, she isn't one of them. But I did look her up when I started researching, because when you're writing a book, you still need to research your stuff, and I saw at least 4 years ago that she's still doing her thing.
Really?
She's still,
Wow.
She's kind of big in the porn industry.
Wow. Wow. So to my next question for you, what do you hope readers take away from your story?
The main thing that I want everyone to take away, I have a chapter in here entitled Seek, Discover, Pursue, Purpose. Because when I went to the pulpit and you had the rebirth of Juva, the one thing that I realized and that I learned was that I had a purpose. There was a purpose for me being in that club. There was a purpose for me being born. There was a purpose for everything that I went through. Although I won't say, the devil made me do it, or God made sure that, anything like that. It wasn't anything like that. But the thing is that I was created on purpose, for a purpose. And I want people to understand that it doesn't matter what it is what you're doing, or what it is that they've said that you've done, or what have you. you don't have to be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be stuck with lack-minded thinking. You don't have to be stuck in hopelessness. You don't have to be stuck in depression, in those dead-end jobs or that jacked up relationship.
Yes.
You don't have to just be stuck. There's a purpose for you. And so what it is that I've done is I want people to walk away with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to know that it doesn't matter. Your past is your past. And sometimes you have to rewrite the story. And when you rewrite the story, it can be beautiful.
Yes.
It can be beautiful, especially when you're doing that thing that you were called to do. And I get so excited when I see people that are flourishing and thriving. That's why when I look over here to you, over
You're
here
about
to the
to
right,
cry.
but it's true. And I'm looking at you with all these little gadgets and stuff here on the table that I absolutely wouldn't know how to work. But I see you in your creative zone, and it absolutely just, it inspires me, and it makes me feel good because I love to see people doing their thing.
Yes,
for
ma'am.
real.
Yes, ma'am. Your
Yeah.
book, when I tell you, when you handed it to me, it couldn't have came at a better time with, especially, experiencing the death in our family.
Right.
Sakina, which we haven't had anything that horrific happen in our family.
Right.
So that was a major L that we, especially us as cousins, took because
Yeah.
we never would have expected that to happen to us. So this book, from the pole to the pulpit, couldn't have come at the most precious and perfect time. I even encourage the other cousins, hey, did you read the book I Juva gave you? I'm pushing because your book, reading it, got me here. It got me back to my focal point and back to my purpose. So I appreciate and I applaud you because you didn't know that.
No,
It had
I didn't.
me getting back on this podcast had been something that I've been fighting with myself for years. I never could see what my friends or what outsiders could see in me that I could not see. So this book, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Auntie Juva.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
It came at a perfect
Absolutely.
time. It really came at a perfect time, and I thank you for this.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Any other special projects you got going on?
Absolutely. Speaking of purpose,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things, part of my purpose is to help people to connect to their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is all God that did this,
Mm-hmm.
but
Amen.
I am an inspirational speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have a platform that I call the Purpose Conversation. And the Purpose Conversation is mostly it's been one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the Purpose Conversation in the grocery store. I've had the Purpose Conversation, in Uber and Lyft.
Uh-huh.
But the Purpose Conversation is for organizations,
Mm-hmm.
companies, small groups, even book clubs to discuss, where you are, why you're stuck,
Mm-hmm.
and what you can do to get out of that. What is your purpose? The Purpose Conversation is to get you to think about your life,
Mm-hmm.
reassess, and to get it together. The quarantine has been absolutely it's been draining, but it has allowed me to kind of reconnect with my purpose because, here it is, my company, I'm very thankful for them, but they were like, okay, no, y'all get up out of this building, work from home, work remote. And then during that time, I shut down social media for maybe about 4 or 5 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And during that 4 or 5 weeks, God just kind of put it back in here. Hey, girl, this is what I told you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of rebranded myself, and polished some things up. And I am going to launch the Purpose Conversation. As a matter of fact, yes, on June the 20th, I am going to have the first official public launch of the Purpose Conversation via the Purpose Experience. My platform is going to be called the Purpose Experience. It is a virtual because we're still,
quarantine,
we're still, we
times.
do. So, I didn't want to have a whole bunch of people in, one place or whatever. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to have a virtual collaboration. And I thought about it and I was like, okay, God, well, how do you want me to do this? Do you just want me to just invite people and I speak and but no. What it is that we're going to do, the virtual collaboration, I know some amazing women. You know how you said that, how you saw me,
Mm-hmm.
and there was something that drew you?
Mm-hmm.
There are some women that actually represent some part of my life
Uh-huh.
right at this very moment that speaks to my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've invited each of these ladies to come to be a part of this virtual collaboration, because it's one thing to have a purpose conversation and to talk about purpose. It's another thing to experience it and to see what purpose looks like.
Exactly.
I want people to see, one of the ladies that I have, she even says I wear many hats. She is a promoter, she is a host, she does some of everything, but I also know her story. I know this backstory, and I know that she could have been a statistic. She could have been, for real. And but just to see her in her zone, and for her to be able to come and share. Another woman, she is she's a personal brand strategist.
Yeah.
And she's an entrepreneur. I have a life coach, and I affectionately call her, I call her, I said Kelly. Her name is Kelly Sweet, and I said that she's my life coach.
Yeah.
But I have a life coach, and then I also have your cousin.
I was waiting for that.
Your cousin, and one of her friends. But they have this podcast. It's about marriage.
Yes, and I listen to it.
You listen to it,
yes.
So their topics. It just kind of gets you to thinking and all this other stuff, and and then
I love it.
Yeah, and I love it. So all of these ladies, and I'm trying. Oh, and there's one young lady. She's a community leader. She's there in Atlanta. She's out there moving and shaking. And I'm gonna shout out their names real quick.
Yeah, do
so
it.
I have Jessica Hill. She is a community leader in Atlanta. She's also the founder of an absolutely fabulous women's empowerment group that I belong to on Facebook, and it's called SBBU, Sisters Building and Believing in Unity. And I also have Udaline A. Daravines. And Udaline is the personal brand strategist. She's absolutely wonderful. She has a YouTube channel. She drops all sorts of nuggets, basically helping you to build your brand. Not just you build your brand, but people, she specializes in people that are multi-talented, that have different things kind of going on, and helping to put it together.
I'm so excited.
So,
See, look at God bringing us here for a purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
And for those of you who are interested in joining this event, Juva, can you give them the link to how they can register?
Yes,
for the event?
It is. It's called the Purpose Experience. It's going to be June the 20th. That's on a Saturday, and I'm not going to take up everybody's whole Saturday. It's from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll need to register on Eventbrite first. From there, you'll end up getting a link before the event so that you can join. It's going to be via Zoom. So it's going to be on Zoom. So lots of people can get on, and you can be at your leisure. You don't have to, come up out of your house. You ain't got to wear no mask and nothing like that.
I feel like I need to be like in a sound safe place with a box of tissue and some water.
Oh, it's gonna be powerful. But I'm gonna have music because I love dance. I love music.
Yeah.
Some giveaways, and did I forget any? I think I might have forgotten. Wait a minute. Who did I said I have?
We stopped at the
Jessica Udaline. Then of course we have Kelly Sweet, and she is a life coach. And I have Miss Vegas. She is the promoter. She is a host. She is a handful. She is amazing and awesome. And who else do I have? Of course, I have J.C. Bailey and Kathy Mangum, which have the podcast, The Married and Having Fun. And I have, who am I missing?
There's another one listed, and her main name ring a bell, Kathy?
Kathy and JC, yeah.
Okay, she's with just India, okay.
Yeah, so Kathy, JC, Jessica, Kelly.
You just have a lot of powerful women coming through.
So yeah, I do.
I'm so excited.
I do, and they are absolutely. When I say this is what purpose looks like, this is truly what purpose looks like. And the thing is just to show people, because you have so many people, all different ages and different stages in their life. You have people that are sitting up there working at that call center.
Yeah.
They're working at that call center, but they are actually called to be an author. They are called to be a chef.
Yeah.
They're called to be something different, or they're called to be a freaking activist right now.
Mm-hmm.
We need people that are
Yes.
walking in their calling and in their purpose.
Yes.
And especially right now
Yes.
with everything that's going
Yes.
on,
I was gonna
you know,
say that. Yes.
you know, we have a lot. We've had some protests here in Charlotte, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course we have some people, and it's so eye-opening,
Very.
especially because of where we are right at this very moment.
Mm-hmm.
But we have some people that are called to be able to, you know, part of their purpose is to be able to bring attention
Yes.
and awareness.
Yes.
Because everybody that necessarily might not necessarily have that platform, or that's not necessarily what they're called to do. You know, they may, you know, share a post or something like that. But there are some people that are, you know, their purpose is to be out there on that front
Yes.
line and to be that
Yes.
voice, to write that movie, to,
Yeah.
you know.
And this could not have come at a better time, because I feel like now, being a woman of color,
Yeah.
we have a voice. We've
Yes, we
had a
do.
voice, but now our voice is even louder.
Yes.
And it's coming to a forefront, and people are just now understanding, oh, well, look at you, been sitting quiet as a mouse for all these years, and now you have a purpose.
That's right.
So for anybody wanting to join, is there a way that we can join your group or your movement?
Yes, absolutely. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I just kind of did my little Twitter thing
Look at
the other
you.
night. Yeah, no.
First of all, let me your TikToks. I love them.
Oh, they're
nowadays.
funny.
I love
Yeah.
them nowadays.
My TikToks are not for me. It is supposed to be just for me and Ace. And I think I don't even know the name. I think it's Juva and Son or something. But the TikToks, yeah, we have
I
fun.
love it. So we can join you on Twitter.
We can
as a
do
way to
it.
get
Yes,
in
we
contact
can.
with
You can get in contact with me, and I have post links to the Eventbrite there. But my author's page on Facebook is author Juva Threat Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
You can find all of my information there, and you can also find my website, like I said, JuvaThreatAlexander.com. And you know, and if all that fails, you know, Google me, baby.
I know that's right. Listen, I would hit one of these
Yes.
keys, but I'm kind of scared.
Yes.
You might get gunshots on that. But we ain't gonna do that.
No gunshots, but Google me, baby.
Yes, Google her. You heard her. So first, let me just say one more time. I can't say this enough. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
coming and stopping by.
You're welcome.
And sharing your journey and your aspirations and how you've gotten from one point in your life to another extreme, very important. And I just hope to see you go higher and higher.
Oh yeah, honey, I'm pursuing purpose.
You go
Seek,
for it.
discover, pursuing purpose. That's
You
what we
go
all
for
need to
it.
be doing. Oh, and I came bearing gifts.
No.
Yes, I did.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So this is for you.
Okay, I love it. I even love the bagging.
Thank
yes,
you.
you better brand.
Yeah.
You
And you
better
know
brand.
what? And speaking of purpose, your cousin,
Mhm.
she has a business.
Yes.
And she has branded.
Two Valid Stylings, and that's with the Z and the number 2.
That's right. And also Two Valid Customs. She actually makes my T-shirts. Two Valid Graphics. I'm telling you.
I love
I'm
it.
telling you.
I love it. See, we're built from a
Women,
family
yes,
of
honey.
getting there. Yes, you better do it.
And I would rather her be in Atlanta doing all of this than up there in Magic City. So yeah.
And listen, she wouldn't be doing it no way because her big cousin is crazy, okay? I'm following right behind you, Auntie.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
I love it. And I just love, oh my God, I love my shirt. Thank you.
Yeah. Got Purpose.
I'm
Your
so
Purpose
excited.
Tee. And
I'm
you
so
can find the
excited.
Got Purpose tees on my website as well.
Okay, and you are selling the merch.
I am selling the merch.
Okay.
Yes.
Cannot wait. Again, thank you, Auntie.
You are
for
very
coming
welcome. Thank you
through.
so much for having me.
Anytime.
Ah.
Come by anytime. Are we going to be expecting another book anytime soon?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But this one, well, actually, I have 2 in the works. Of course, I'm an editor, so I'm always working on other people's things and making their stuff look good. And I'm not going to talk about all of my authors today, but I am working on, and I'm almost finished with my first fictional novel. The thing is, it's so daggone juicy, y'all. Ooh,
Oh, I
ooh.
cannot. If it's anything like this, from the pole to the pulpit.
Yeah, well, a little bit of Kitty is probably all up in the fictional novel. It's called No Residue.
Ooh.
no residue.
Woo!
And it's for those who don't look like what they've been through. And so basically, I have this executive. She's top of her game, but honey, behind closed doors, she is a hot mess. And all of the character, ooh, I'm afraid for you to read it, but like, what the heck is my auntie? Where is her mind?
Listen, when I get ready to write a book, I'm coming for you. I'm coming to you. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see where you're going in this journey. And I'm so happy to be a witness and to be right here to see all the great things that you're going to come on to do. So anytime you need me, just know that Talk is here for you.
Talk that talk, honey. Yes, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Again, everybody, you are joined in the studio by yours truly, me and my lovely
Juva Threat Alexander. I'm her auntie first.
Yes, yes. And again, you guys can go find her book on all her platforms. Again, I'm going to let her announce the platforms where you can go find her book. And again, where you can join up to be on this conference meeting for her God Purpose Empowerment.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so once again, the book is entitled From the Pole to the Pulpit by Juva Threat Alexander. Now, when you go onto Amazon, you'll see there are a couple of authors with the exact same title. I thought it was really cool how God probably planted that in. But mine, you will not be able to, you won't be able to mistake it because it's the one that got the sexy, sexy little silhouette down at the bottom. And then you have the woman of God raised up there on the pulpit. So, and also you can find my book and my other merchandise on my website, juvathreatalexander.com. And you can, of course, you can follow me and so you can connect with me on social media, Juva Threat Alexander. And what else did we just say?
I just wanted you to plug it on the platform.
Yeah. And the Purpose Experience on Eventbrite, you have to register, and then you'll be provided with a link to Zoom. And that's going to be on the 20th, so next Saturday.
I cannot wait. Well, again, this is yours truly, me, Alex, on Talk That Talk to Me podcast. And make sure